for this day.
This is RSN, Rangers Sports Network, presented by Progressive. It is baseball time in Texas.
So now every starter has at least one hit. That one is through. He scores. And this one's cracked open. It's 7-0. That ball's pounded. Look out! Langford launches a two-run shot.
10 runs, 18 hits.
This one is over. A 10-0 Rangers rebound win tonight. Oh, yeah, the Rangers coming off a beauty last night, a 10-0 shutout. And Rangers baseball presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Final game of this three-game series, a rubber game. Winner take all, so to speak, is the Rangers are ready to go. Bats were swinging yesterday. A season-high 10 runs, a season-high 18 hits. Welcome in, everybody. Great to have you along with us tonight. I'm Dave Raymond. He's David Murphy. The Rangers were rolling yesterday. Hopefully a little something maybe to springboard things for this team. One thing that has gone exceedingly well this year for the Rangers, and at least going back to the end of May, has been their ability suddenly to hit left-handed pitching.
The performance against the lefties has been good. Kumar Rocker was good last night. The overall offense was great, but the performance against the lefties is huge. And last night, what they did against the lefties, as you see in our StatCast 3D graphic powered by Google Cloud, 13 singles, 2 doubles, 2 homers, second most in the Texas StatCast era, those hits against the lefties. And you look at that longest line out there, that belongs to Wyatt Langford and his homer. 103 on the exit velocity, went almost 400 feet. The launch angle was 31 degrees. You look what Langford's been doing lately. OPS over 1,000 in June, 954 in July. He's been really good in a lot of different areas. Our Yellowwood bringing the lumber is going to show you how good he's been at home. 11-game home hitting streak, hitting nearly 400. 5 homers, OPS over 1,200, 5 multi-hit games. We've talked about it. He's the guy that can put the offense on his back, and he is doing exactly that.
Yeah, boy, yesterday the Rangers got plenty of offense today, hoping for some good pitching again. Cal Quantrill will have the bulk innings today. He's very good here at home, maybe the king of the hill, if you will. Rangers baseball on RSN is presented by Progressive Insurance. A grand slam for your budget. Visit progressive.com. By Amazon. Spend less on your kids for back to school. And by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, the official casino and resort of the Texas Rangers.
Tonight's King of the Hill is Cal Quantrill. He started this season down in Round Rock, was called up to the Rangers to pitch out of the bullpen, but has since been called into service into the rotation following an injury to Jack Leiter. And as you can see here, he has done a very admirable job. But guys, it makes sense because Cal has spent the majority of his career as a starting pitcher, but he did tell me that he feels like coming out of the bullpen at times this year has really helped him simplify his approach. He's throwing fewer pitches and he's not getting lost in the weeds as much. He said sometimes I just think breaking up your routine a bit has allowed you to get back and remember what it is that made you good and survive in the big leagues for so long in the first place. And good thing, guys, because even though he has started 5 of his last appearances, he will be coming out of the bullpen today. Tyler Alexander will be today's opener, but you can feel confident you will see Quantrill at some point. He'll throw the bulk innings, guys. Yeah, very unheralded role, a guy that's a swing man that can pitch out of the bullpen, that can be your starter. And you talked about routine. Speaking of Tyler Alexander, a guy that sticks with his routine, runs in out of the bullpen. Always love seeing when guys do that. 4th game as an opener for him. ERA under 3, 42 innings pitched in 44 games this year. Limits the walks, only 11 for him. 270 is what the opponents are hitting against him. Features a variety of pitches, 26% changeup, 24% cutter. He'll throw the sinker 21% of the time, 16 on the sweeper, and a 4-seamer 13% of the time.
Hard to believe his 4th start already this year in this opener type role. We'll take a look at the lineup that the Chicago White Sox will run out there after him. Our Trajan Wealth lineup for Chicago. They are 53-47, tied for first in the Central. And Sam Adenachi in left field will lead it off. Munetaka Murakami at first base. Then it's Miguel Vargas at third. Montgomery's and Meidroth in the middle. Benintendi DHing. Edgar Caro doing the catching, and Tristan Peterson center field will bat ninth.
Check out the Rangers defense. Cam Cauley will be your center fielder. And it's Osuna and Nimmo on the corners. Lopez and Foscue up the middle. Ezekiel Duran, Jake Berger on the corners. Elias Diaz continues to get the majority of the catching duties. He's back there behind the plate.
A big day today for Elias as he hits that 10-year service mark. What a great accomplishment, and he'll be celebrated by his teammates. And that's always, I mean, it's always a huge deal. And I will say the Rangers do a terrific job of making it a big deal here for players as Alexander gets us going. And he's high with ball one to Antonacci. Left-handed hitter, 282 average, 7 homers, 30 RBIs. And a pesky leadoff man. He takes inside here. 2-0. 3 of the first 4 White Sox to come to the plate in this lineup are left-handed, so it does work out well for Alexander to be the opener. But he's going to have to throw strikes. He misses here. It's 3-0. Mention it's his 4th start. 41 appearances out of the bullpen. And he does groove that one. I'm also surprised that Antonacci was taking as blatantly as he was there at 3-0.
He just wanted to see some pitches against a lefty. You got Alexander, a guy that's moving some fastballs in on his hands. He's kind of in statue take mode or auto take mode, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, so now it's a full count, right? I mean, all of a sudden, it's a real at bat, right? When you're up 3-0, it feels like this is darn near a gimme. But I like guys being a little more aggressive 3-0 these days. Anywho, here we go. It's a payoff pitch from Alexander, and it's fouled. Although, I guess if you're Antonacci, right, this is what we've seen the last couple of days. He's like, whatever, I'll just foul off 20 pitches till I get something I like.
It wouldn't be an Antonacci at bat, especially leading off the game, if there wasn't at least one foul ball. Now we can call it a game.
Yeah, it's official. 7th pitch of the at bat coming here. That is a good way to start a game as a leadoff man. The payoff, and he'll bounce it right side of the infield. It makes for an easy play for Foscue, 1 away. So Alexander gets his man, and now here comes Murakami. In his first year here in the U.S., big off-season acquisition for the White Sox. And he has not disappointed. 20 home runs already. He was an all-star here in his first big league season. And he takes outside, ball 1. He swings and misses a good amount. But the White Sox don't seem to have an issue with it. That one was off the plate. And it looked for a moment there like there would be an appeal down to third, but there was not. That was just, I think, just the call made there by Ryan Willis, our plate umpire. There's a foul. 2-1.
That OPS went up in the count.
Yikes. Legitimate Rookie of the Year candidate in the American League. He takes a really tough one there and then adjusts his helmet.
set up in, ends up away. Right on that corner.
So close to tapping that thing, but nope.
There have to be eye contact in the matter there, because it's like he started to look.
2-2, and he swings and misses a strikeout of Murakami. So Alexander gets the first two he's faced here tonight.
You know, Alexander has like the appearance early on that he's throwing a wiffle ball up there. He can make the sweeper and the sinker, the cutter. They all move a ton. This one just straight as an arrow. The four-seamer at the bottom of the zone. 93. Murakami swings right through it.
So now a right-handed hitter, Miguel Vargas, and he will take a strike. Vargas has had a really nice year. See all those extra base hits, the 21 home runs. He's also second in the league with 24 doubles. And he takes low, 1-1. And among the league leaders in runs and walks, slugging. 21 homers have him at 10th in the league. He's ahead 2-1. So Alexander fell behind Antonacci 3-0 before coming back to get him to ground out. Working from behind here and sneaks one in. 2-2 on Vargas.
There's one thing Alexander can do is just locate that fastball. When he gets behind, that's such a good weapon for him. And he can come in a hitter's count and just get a take from a good right-handed hitter.
Vargas hits that one hard out to left center, but it is caught out there by Osuna. What a diving grab by Alejandro to take one away.
Good swing here from Vargas, but you got a lefty out there in left field. Tracks this one down, goes into the dive, and hauls it in for his pitcher to put the White Sox down in the first.
At Globe Life, we apologize.
All right, it's time now for Line Drives, brought to you by Corona. I love the sound of that, and I love the sound of these contacts. It was Nemo in the first inning yesterday, a two-run shot, and then a little later on, it was Wyatt Langford, a two-run blast in the fifth. The Rangers were swinging it last night. And the Trajan Wealth lineup tonight for Skip Schumacher has Langford in that leadoff spot again, DHing. Justin Foscue at second, and batting second, then it's Jake Berger. Nemo, Duran, Cawley in the middle. Diaz does the catching, Osuna in left field. Nicky Lopez, the shortstop, bats ninth.
There's Anthony Kay for the White Sox, the lefty going to the mound. 20 games for him this season. He's about to hit the 100-inning mark. 4.24 ERA. About half as many walks as strikeouts. There's an arsenal for him. 42% fastball. He'll feature a sweeper, cutter, changeup, slider as his secondary pitches.
Former first-round pick of the New York Mets back in 2016. And the lefty's first offering, that one is downstairs, ball one. Fastball there at 94 miles per hour. His changeup will be the interesting pitch tonight. Another fastball, that one in there for a strike. Can the Rangers, let's just say, neutralize his changeup, lay off that thing? 1-1, and he misses low. He is, you know, based on a couple of data points, kind of a nibbler. So he's not a Chris Sale lefty, right? He's not coming after you with his overpowering stuff. He's going to try and live on the edges. Langford hits this ball hard out to right field, but there's just enough room out in that part of right field, and Montgomery tracks it down for the first out of the inning.
Let's look at what the White Sox are featuring on defense. We saw Braden Montgomery reel that in. He's in right, Sam Antonacci in left, Tristan Peters in center. It'll be Miguel Vargas at third base, Colson Montgomery at short, Chase Mydroth at second. Munetaka Murakami will be your first baseman. Edgar Caro behind the plate today for the White Sox.
Well, Foscue rolls this one sharply down to third base. And Vargas hops up, makes the throw right as his hat's flying off. Gets it done, 2 away.
That hat stay on to begin with. Hard hit ball right here. Good reaction time. Goes down to the ground. Throws a strike over to first. 2 outs here early on in the first for the Rangers.
All bases empty for Jake Berger. Rangers only have 3 left-handed hitters in the lineup tonight. Berger takes a breaking ball for strike 1. .239 hitter with 17 home runs. And he's in a hole 0-2.
There's that changeup that you talked about. I think the slug is what stands out the most. Just 1 homer against that pitch in 61 at bats, .213 average.
0-2 and a swing and a miss. That time got him with a breaking ball, and it's a 1-2-3 first inning for Kay. So both starters off to good starts here tonight. We'll see if Alexander looks like he's coming back out for a second inning.
At Farmers,
one of the biggest accomplishments in baseball is reaching 10 years of service time, and Elias Diaz reached that milestone today. I asked him what it meant to him, and he said a lot, because you have to ride so many ups and downs to get to this point, and it's really hard. So I asked him if he had been counting down the days, and he said, well, I haven't, but Ezekiel Duran has. Ever since Elias signed with the Rangers, Zeke, every time he's seen him or every day he's seen him, has told him how many days he has left. I asked Zeke if he was doing anything special for him today, and he said yes. I gave him a big hug. So Elias gets a big hug and a fully vested pension for his 10 years of service time, guys.
It seemed like that hug will probably happen every day, though.
Exactly.
You know, Zeke's that type of guy, but that what a big deal. Skip talked about it. Did he say 1%? I thought it was 10% maybe. I don't know. Either way, it's not a whole lot of guys get there.
Well, Alexander's first pitch now in the second inning. Bloop back of second, and Colson Montgomery is retired.
Yeah, you think of how few guys. What's the average career? Somewhere in the 3 to 4 year range. So doing it for 10 years, accumulating that amount of service. You know that you're being consistent year in, year out, especially at the catcher's position. That is a hard, grueling position to achieve your 10 years. I'd be curious for the guys that have gotten to the 10-year mark, how many of them are catchers?
Oh, that is a good one. And it is not quite 10% of Major League players get to 10 years of service time. Although I would not have been shocked had it been the 1% you said. It's just, it's been pointed out to me before. People always try to put it in perspective. If you took every single Major League player who has ever gotten to 10 years for the history of the game, going back to the 1800s, they wouldn't fill half this ballpark.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
Well, even I think there was something similar presented to me in the last year or two. I think about 25,000 guys have ever played Major League Baseball, period. Right? So if we're thinking about this ballpark, I mean, it wouldn't fill up this ballpark. It would be a really good crowd, but that's something to consider also.
It's a fantastic fraternity to be in, the 10 years, and not every one of them will get a hug from Zeke, but Elias did. And that's something.
Yeah. Back to the blue cleats again today, by the way.
Yeah, well, you better. 2-2 pitch. And Alexander just off the outside.
Looks like a breaking ball. Tries to catch that side door. Just misses.
So now Montgomery taking his time getting into the batter's box, and they just now strike the clock. It was odd. 3-2. And that's fouled back. Quantrill looks like he's basically ready to go. Gathering he may come in to face Mydroth. 3-2, and that is off the plate. Ball 4. Braden Montgomery has reached. He's the first base runner of the night for either team.
Adding 6 to second baseman number 10.
It does bring up Mydroth. So no change, no sign from the Rangers dugout that anything's afoot, because after Mydroth you go left, switch hitter, lefty again. So Alexander will continue to battle, and he sneaks one in for a strike here to Mydroth. Braden Montgomery, the base runner, 1 stolen base. He's been caught twice. And now a bunt attempt third base side. That's interesting. I was just watching Duran on that one. He was in tight, and then as Alexander started his motion, Zeke backpedaled quickly. Here you go. And I don't know if Mydroth was waiting to get a read on that, if that would have affected in any way his strategy, or if he was going to lay down a bunt anyway.
I'd be curious to see if his eyes were peeking that way as he saw Zeke scoop back.
Now the 0-2, and that's down the right side, foul. It's pretty wild how quickly baseball has turned a corner to, I don't know, like 5-6 guys in every lineup being prepared and comfortable enough to bunt, whereas 2-3 years ago it would have been unthinkable. 0-2, and that's low.
Yeah, I love it. I love just the small ball type of aspect that's brought to the game. Even, you know, something I've been thinking about over the course of the last few days, seeing Atlanta and now Chicago, 2 first-place teams, good offenses. I feel like the 2-strike approach is back more than we've seen it in recent years.
Well, this one hops away from Diaz, has trouble finding it. Montgomery turns and heads for third, and he'll get 2 bags on it. That's good base running by Montgomery.
Yeah, every now and then you'll see a base runner take a secondary lead and jog into the next base. Yeah, you want to sprint, because in a situation like this, you don't necessarily know. You see Montgomery, he slowed down a little bit towards second base, but he's got good enough speed where he made it to third easily.
That's a big wild pitch now with the infield in. That's lined into left, and Mydroth gets that first run to the plate. White Sox are up 1-0.
It's like a little changeup down out of the strike zone. Mydroth with a good enough bat path. He stays through it. It's good extension out front. Allows him to hit a line drive to left field. Diaz frustrated. He knows right away. We talked about that what if factor at the end of a night, at the end of an inning. Never liked being the guy thinking if I would have caught that ball, or if I would have found it and got to it, would that run have scored? I don't think so.
Yeah, boy, that's frustrating. And Benintendi shoots that foul. 0-2. And by the way, the White Sox very similar to the Rangers this year in the way that if Will Venable's club gets that first run of the ball game. They've enjoyed a lot of success. They are 35-19 when scoring first. 2-strike pitch, and that's bounced right side of the infield. Quick flip to second for one. Lopez on to first in time, double play. Well, a 4-6-3 twin killing takes a little wind out of the sails in the second. So Alexander through 2 innings. It's 1-0 Chicago.
Well, how about this here? Rangers cleaning up against left-handed pitchers lately. Our Chevy Under the Hood is going to show you what Brandon Nimmo has done against lefties since July 1st. Leads major league hitters, major league left-handed hitters versus left-handed pitchers. The .733 batting average, you kidding me? 11 for 15, 1,200 slug, nearly a 2,000 OPS. 4 for 4 last night. There's a lot to be said about a good left-handed hitter, but one that can hit lefties the way that he does, and the approach that he had last night going to the opposite field. Man, what a really good hitter.
Takes outside, 1-1. 1-0 start for the White Sox. Nimmo coming off an incredible night last night. And he hits this one sharply, but right to second base. And my drop is there, 1 away. Good start for Anthony Kay so far this evening. First 4 he's faced. Here is Duran. And Kay gets that first one in for strike 1. Not that many Rangers who have seen Kay before. As an example, that's just Nimmo's second ever career look at Kay, and he had one of 3 Rangers at bats against him. That one is a little bit low. That's that changeup. 2-1 to count. And Kay's a guy was in Bahama. In fact, the last couple of years pitching in Japan. Made his big league debut with the Blue Jays back in the day in 2019. So count evens now at 2-2. I mentioned earlier he was a first-round draft pick by the Mets, but that was in 2016. And part of the trade for Marcus Stroman. 2-2. That one's bounced to shortstop. Duran is thrown out. 2 away. Kay getting some ground balls here early.
Batting 6th, the center fielder, number 27, Cam Cauley.
Look at Cam Cauley next. Cauley goes after the first one and fouls it away. So a lot of offense in the first 2 games. The opener, White Sox won it 10-3. Rangers bounced back yesterday for a 10-0 win. And Cauley takes high here. I asked Will Venable today before the ball game about the game, about this series. He's like, man, people keep asking me like, what happened last night? He's like, it's baseball. It just happens. Some nights you just get crushed. Sometimes you administer the beat down. Well, that just missed. 2-1. And that is true, right? We go into every season assuming you're going to win 60 games just for showing up. You're going to lose 60 games just because. We'll see what happens with the rest of them. 3-1.
Yeah, last night was a perfect example. I think it was the 5th game in which the Rangers had 15 or more hits on the season. So there's going to be anomalies like that where you got a group that's just locked in. That was the case. One thing's for sure, though. I think we're bound to see a 3-2 or 4-3 type of game tonight, right? Like the law of averages would tell you, because it's been blowouts. Like the most similar to what we were just talking about was a 7-6 game in that Saturday game in Atlanta. But everything else has been more of a blowout.
Payoff, and Cauley lifts that out to right field. That one has a chance. It's gone! Cam Cauley's first big league home run. And it ties the game. I think he realized it once he got to third. Hey man, slow down just a bit. Enjoy the jog.
I don't know if I knew that he had that type of oppo pop in him. Listed at 5'9", 170. Gets a fastball up and out of the strike zone, and this is a no-doubter. Down the right field line with authority.
Well, that's fun. 1-1 the score. Well, he's gone through the debut. He's settled in a little bit, gotten used to being here. But Murph, is it kind of like the debut once you get that first home run? Like, has he felt the ground yet?
There's like those little moments, the stepping stones, where each one of those you feel like you belong a little bit more. Oh man, that's really cool to get your first homer. To look up at that scoreboard, you know, the overall numbers, to know there's one in that column. Kind of. And to show the boys, right? Like, yeah. Hey, I've done this a little bit at the minor league level, but I can do it up here too.
It just so happens it's his first RBI as well. This guy's on the phone with his attorney. So, how would you go about negotiating this again? Start high, you say? What do you think you would do if you got somebody's first home run ball, Murph?
Give it to them.
Yeah. Swing and a miss. Diaz strikes out, and the inning is done. But a little history in the second inning. Cam Cauley, you know what's going to happen sooner or later. It goes the other way. No question about it. First big league homer, and he's tied this game at 1. Now, congratulations, Cam Cauley, his first major league home run a moment ago. He's tied this game at 1. And congratulations to that cat, too. That's it, buddy. Come with me. Security sending him off to this very secret room where they take these guys who catch historic balls. That's where they administer. That's where they have conversations, is what they do. Cal Quantrill takes over in the third inning now. In a 1-1 game, so Quantrill, now he will pitch the bulk innings from here. He gets the 8th and 9th place hitters to start. And he evens things up with Carroll, 1-1.
How often do you think a guy that catches like a home run, a first home run, like that he actually knows?
That's what I was wondering.
He or she that they know if they're catching that big moment.
Carroll lifts this out to center field, and it's tracked down out there by Cauley. 1 away. Do you think that guy knew? I couldn't tell, but there was something. There was a little something that gave me the sense he knew something.
Give me a coin to flip, and I'll give you an answer. Yeah, I don't know.
I guess, you saw him on the phone almost immediately. I'm guessing a buddy or somebody called to let him know that piece of information. Now Quantrill Boy, and he tried to sneak that curveball in at the top of the zone. Didn't get the call, but Elias Diaz, he felt that did get in there. Our first ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile, and it did drop in. Great job by Diaz. Tristan Peters, 9th place hitter. And he'll peel that one down to third, and he gets rung up by Will Little. 0-2.
If you were going to overturn a call, would you rather do it as a hitter or as a catcher?
Well, as a hitter. Here's a foul ball.
I feel like there'd be more pressure as a catcher. You're really trying to.
A little bit.
Maybe.
Well, because you mean like there'd be higher expectations for you to have a better idea.
Helping your pitcher out, right? If you're a hitter, you're trying to do it for yourself, right? If you're, it's obviously it's for the team regardless.
There's a 2-hopper to shortstop, and Lopez throws out Peters. Yeah, I think there's something there. Now, my answer, it's funny because you said that, and I thought for about a split second, and what drove my decision was I don't want to catch. I would much rather be hitting. So
even ABS aside, you just wouldn't want to be a catcher.
No. Are you kidding me?
What position would you want to play?
DH. Oh, here we go. Another challenge. This time it's Antonacci, and I think he's got a pretty good argument here. ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile. Oh boy, that was a pretty easy call. Want to know the count. Now, when I was little, I caught. I did enjoy it when I was a kid. Bouncer right side. Nice play by Berger. Gets it over to Quantrill in time to complete a 1-2-3 third inning. So Quantrill, we'll see him for a number more innings from this point forward. But that's a really nice way to get his evening started. 3 up, 3 down.
Here you leave today.
Got a tie ball game working here in the bottom of the third as Alejandro Osuna comes up to the plate. And our Liberty Mutual Insurance field coverage is talking about the direction of his batted balls. Look how equal this is. 51 to left field, that's opposite field for him. 51 to the pull side, that's right field. And 43 straight up the middle. You know, I wonder for him exactly, being a smaller guy, and I love his opposite field approach, especially against lefties. We saw it last night. How the Rangers are coaching him. Do they want him to be more of a guy? Like, are they coaching him to try to hit the ball in the air to the pull side more so? I mean, obviously, you'd love to see them unlock the power. He's got 3 major league home runs to his name in his career, and I think there's more power in there. But he's a guy you just want to get on base. And we talked about the Little Rascals. I mean, he's a guy that you get him on base, he wreaks havoc out there, and he's just there he goes.
Yeah, in the air, short center, drops in, base hit. I like it. He gets on about 36% of the time, and now that he's on, he can be a handful.
Yeah, he works some pitchers, just gets this off the end. May have broken his bat on it. Well, either way, he did what he was wanting to do. He's on first base to lead off this inning.
Okay, so he's on for Nicky Lopez, and Lopez bunts it back to the mound. Kay looks at second, but just takes the out at first. Lopez successful with that sacrifice. Goes 1-3.
And we were talking about the amount of guys in a lineup that can bunt. He's an obvious one. He does the little things well. He's hitting in the 9-hole with the lefty on the mound. So this was a pretty obvious bunt situation. And this really, it's back to the pitcher. He deadens it enough to where Kay doesn't get to it too quickly.
Again, we see Jacob Newbern running out onto the field. Athletic trainer taking a look at Osuna. There's something bugging him as he got out to second base. Let's get Schumacher out there as well. Osuna will take a couple of half jogs or half sprints out into the outfield. So maybe something there in the upper part of the leg.
Maybe just something that felt uncomfortable, just a little tweak for a second.
Apparently he's all right. Newburn and Schumacher back into the dugout. It's interesting with Jacob Newburn, the athletic trainer, like maybe he wouldn't have all that much sympathy for some of these guys with calf here, leg there, whatever. He's blown both his ACLs and not had them fixed. Who does that?
I guess the question that
Langford down to third base. Vargas makes a good throw across the diamond in time. 2 away.
well, we didn't get to ask like how long that recovery period is. Like if you blow one of those out and you don't get the opportunity, you opt to not have surgery. Like what does that look like as far as when you're able to start running or when you feel good again? We need to ask him. We need to have a follow-up conversation.
You know, we pointed out last night that Newby's an avid gardener. And I think that might be part of the reason why. It's a lot less running and gardening. There's a bouncer slowly hit left side of the infield. Vargas tried to bear him but lost it. So Foskew's on. Osuna gets to third base. That is a hit.
We see the high chopper. And I guess I'm a little bit surprised by Vargas going to the bare hand. I mean, you can receive that with 2 hands and release it quickly. I think so many of the guys that make the bare-handed plays, they make it look easy. It's not as easy as it looks. Kind of have to catch it right in the fingers. He looked like he got it a little bit more in the palm.
Yeah, it felt like he might have had time to go ahead and make that a little more conventionally. So it is a hit, right? No error. And yet, it does feel like the Rangers get a little extension of this inning that they probably couldn't have expected. Now, we'll see if Jake Berger can cash in on it. Osuna 90 feet away. Foskew over at first. Left-hander K delivers. That one is outside. Ball 1. 18 hits yesterday for the Rangers. 1-0. And that's foul along third, and I think it broke Berger's bat. Didn't sound good anyway.
I think the cutter does 2 things. It makes a hitter late and get around a ball. So I feel like in the cutter era, which I don't even know when that started, you know, we all know the cutter because of Mariano Rivera, but I think more guys were throwing it back in the day than it was ever documented. But the cutter, it hurts knees and shins, and it breaks bats.
Yep. Do you think it breaks more bats than any other pitch?
That would be my guess.
Yeah, I would agree. 1-1. Strike 2 on Berger.
Or I would also be curious, do more bats break right above the handle or off the end? I broke more off the end. Yeah,
really?
I feel like it's the obvious answer would be off the handle.
Yeah, that's what I would think. 1-2. And a swing and a miss. Berger has not enjoyed his couple of looks so far tonight. And Anthony K. Rangers leave a couple on base. 3 innings in the books here tonight. Rangers and White Sox tied at 1.
Yep, just got back from Philly.
Rangers baseball on RSN is brought to you by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, the official casino and resort of the Texas Rangers. And by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Chevy drives Texas. And Rangers and White Sox 1-1 our score. Quantrill's second inning of work. And he'll put that first one in there. Strike one on Murakami. Rangers used an opener. Tyler Alexander went 2. And Quantrill is downstairs with the split finger fastball. That's low. And Diaz kind of cocks his hat at Quantrill. Well, he's been the man of many hats this season for the Rangers. Now basically in the rotation. 2-2 the count when Jack Leiter left the rotation, had the surgery on his ankle. Quantrill, stepped in. It was a bullpen game and pitched a couple of innings that first time. Next time, it was sort of the de facto starter, maybe 3 innings, and on we go. And now he's pretty well stretched out. 2-2. And he's upstairs with that one. Full count.
Yeah, every team needs one. It is an unsung hero type of role. You don't realize how important it is to get length out of a guy in the bullpen that can also move to the rotation.
Fouled away. Stays 3-2 on Murakami. Well, if the Rangers could win this one today, got a long way to go. They'd be 500 in games where he is fundamentally the starter. And even though there was an opener today, Quantrill's basically the starter today. He and Diaz finally agree, and that is high. So a walk to Murakami to start the 4th inning. We have a moment here for Academy Sports and Outdoors. Rangers turned a double play in the 2nd inning behind Alexander. Oh, Vargas. Miguel Vargas here. He flew out in the 1st inning. 0 for 1.
Kind of curious if he knows his numbers on first pitch. Like he's hitting under 200 on the first pitch for the season. That's so. I feel like most guys are around 300 or more. I feel like that's so common. Even if it's a 250, 260 hitter, usually see him hitting 310, 320 first pitch. But he's the guy that's just, it's kind of a weird number. I think coming into the series, 189 on the first pitch. So he's swinging at the first one. I feel like I would know that in my head as a hitter. It would make me a little gun shy swinging at that first one.
Did you remember getting that kind of granular information when you were playing?
I don't think I got the information. Every now and then I'd mess around with like the splits on Baseball Reference, because that was, the main, and it still is one of the main websites if you're looking for information. We didn't get the advanced metrics and a lot of that stuff. There were times later in my career where I heard some of the metrics. I'd be like, hey, how much am I swinging outside of the strike zone, or how much am I pulling the ball versus going to the opposite field? But your numbers on the first pitch, that's something that you've been able to look that one up for a while.
Like, is that helpful information though as a player?
I think anything's helpful. Like, if it's a bad number,
because I don't know if I want him to know that.
Yeah, I know.
Because I feel like generally guys do hit better when they go after the first pitch. I don't want him being self-conscious about it and having any hesitation, right? Because if you're going to go after the first pitch, you just better be going.
And you would assume that the Rangers pitching staff knows it, and they're like, listen,
challenge.
Like if you feel pretty good about your fastball and your command, just go down and away. Like you can probably get a first pitch because the numbers haven't been good, or you know he'll swing and miss. He'll take it. He'll hit a weak ground ball.
1-1 to Colson. Montgomery is low. Popped out of the second.
But you can make yourself feel good or bad, you know, in a variety of ways. And obviously most people are going to do it on the good side. Like you can find a number or a metric. If you're hitting 210, well, you know, I'm got a 45% hard hit rate. Yeah, but you're hitting 210.
Right. Here's a guy who hits really well on the first pitch of an at bat. Would you take 521?
I would take 521.
It's acceptable.
I mean, what's the slug, though?
Yeah. Check in over there at first base. Murakami back in there. Now he's only stolen 1 base successfully this year. Been caught 3 times. So hasn't been bashful per se. Maybe that's what Quantrill's thinking. Or maybe just wanted a moment to catch his breath. 3-1, and that's up. So he's walked Montgomery. 2 walks in the inning. With Montgomery aboard, Murakami going out to second base, it'll bring up another Montgomery, Braden Montgomery, who walked in the second inning. Remember, he scored the run in the second. Hits this one on the ground, third base. Quick flip to second. They get the out. No relay to first. A pretty smart job there on the part of Foscue to hold that one. I don't think they had a real shot. So 2 away on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, watch where Foscue is. He's really got to hustle to get to the bag. And after he takes a few steps to, I guess, compose himself and get a grip on the ball, you know that Montgomery runs well enough to where even this point right here, you're thinking no chance that he's going to get him. So great job on the arm fake. You take a peek over at third. Most base runners are taught not to get too far off.
Chase Meidroth, he had the RBI single in the second inning. Boy, he has struggled with runners in scoring position. He didn't in the second. But a nearly 50-point drop off in his batting average in these spots, which is surprising to me. I feel like you, generally speaking, get a little bit better pitches to hit in these spots. Oddly. His run scoring single in the second. That's the only hit the White Sox have had today. And he'll have the second hit. He flares that one into right field. Gets Murakami in from third base. It's 2-1 Chicago.
It's just a good example of you stay with a good approach the other way. I mean, this kind of is a shades of Derek Jeter type of approach. You're looking to go in. I mean, I feel like where the glove was set up and where the ball ended up, it was a pretty good location. But big league hitters, they're good at pulling their hands in, even on fastballs that are sinking in on you.
So 2 base runners for Benintendi, who's 0 for 1. And he'll take very high. Quantrill not showing the best command here early on.
You were talking about Kay, about kind of just pick around the plate. I mean, that's kind of what Quantrill's done to this point.
Oh, this one's lined out to center field. That gets down for a base hit. Polly's up with it quickly, but he can't get it home in time. Montgomery scores from second, and the White Sox are in front 3-1.
Yeah, obviously the big difference in this inning and what Quantrill would have loved to have avoided was the 2 walks to the first 3 hitters. He got a pop-up to Vargas in between, but walked to Murakami to start the inning, and then after the pop-up, Colson Montgomery walked. So you've got guys on first and second not having to do a whole lot. And there's probably some likelihood that at least one of those runs is going to come around, and it turns out for the White Sox that both of them come around to score.
It's going to be so frustrating. So earns a visit is Jordan Teagues, Rangers pitching coach, out there to have a moment or two with Quantrill. Last night you made the point toward the end of the game, Murph. We were talking about the contact by the White Sox. Did they hit? It was a hard hit out late, and it was the only swing of the night that the White Sox moved the ball forward at least 100 miles per hour.
It was Murakami. I think it was a fly out to center field. It was exactly 100 miles an hour, and it was the only one that reached triple digits.
And so far tonight, they've scored 3 runs on 3 hits. They still have not hit a ball 100 miles per hour. Not that that's the ultimate number. I mean, in the 90s, usually you can do some damage, and they have. But it underscores the, I guess, how walks can magnify trouble. My goodness. 1-1, and there's another bad miss. That's the other problem for Quantrill. You know, the ball strike ratio not very good. I mean, he's thrown 18 strikes and 16 balls. But of those 16 balls, at least 8 of them just aren't even, they're not even close. That one is called a strike. I was going to say that one's at least a more tempting pitch, but that cutter was in there. It's 2-2. He's over 25 pitches for the inning. This will be number 27. Here it is. And it's up and away. So he's searching a little bit right now. Third 3-ball count already in this inning. The first 2 were walks. Runners go. The 3-2 pitch, and that's popped foul. So Carroll hanging in there. Veteran right-hander Quantrill delivers another foul ball. Quantrill's 31 years old. He's been well traveled, especially in recent years. And the idea was, as we've pointed out a few times tonight, is that he'd be the bulk pitcher. He would pitch as much as a starter, just not beginning his night until the 3rd inning. Well, this is his 30th pitch of the inning, which calls into question just how many innings can he take tonight. Certainly at this pace, not many. Meidroth at second, Benintendi at first. And the 3-2, that's inside. Ball 4, so he's walked another, his 3rd walk of the inning. Bases are loaded. Take a look at our Ford leaderboard. Tristan Peters coming to the plate for Chicago, and among American League rookies right now, best batting average in the junior circuit. On base and slug, both top 5. Quantrill deals up and out to Peters.
You combine those numbers with what he does defensively in center field. This is a promising young talent. I think the White Sox in general, you look at Peters in center, Montgomery in right, and Antonacci in left. Even though the numbers aren't great for Antonacci so far, we've kind of talked about him in a position change, but that's some athletic 3 guys out there that are probably going to run some balls down.
Time called here by Peters. Boy, Robbie Ahlstrom already getting ready in that Rangers pen, and he's doing it in a hurry. As Quantrill just can't seem to harness it tonight. One. Close again. Well, the one thing the Rangers have going for them tonight, and right now, there isn't a lot, that's the fact that they have tomorrow off. 2-1 pitch, and that's popped up back of third base. This could be a big break. Duran back there, he makes the catch, and that ends the inning. And it limits the White Sox to 2 runs in the inning. Quantrill ultimately getting out of a bases loaded jam. Not a good inning though. Last of the 4th coming up. Rangers trailing the White Sox 3-1.
All right, let's check out TXU Energy Power Steps. Rangers have been known to hit a homer or 2. 45 of them since June 18th. You know, there was a concentrated effort, it seemed like, at the beginning of last season. They went out and got Jake Perger. They went and got Jock Peterson. They were trying to improve the slug. They go out and get this guy this season, Brandon Nimmo. I mean, it's there up and down the lineup. Langford, Foskew's done it against lefties. Berger is your leader in the lineup today, 17. Brandon Nimmo's got 10. Zeke's got 10 this year. Got guys like Josh Young, a little banged up. He's on the bench tonight. Obviously, the Rangers are waiting for Corey Seager to come back, but these guys are capable of hitting the ball out of the yard.
Well, this one is lined right out into right field. A base hit for Brandon Nimmo. Good start to the 4th inning. Well, let's check in with Laura.
Guys, after yesterday's game, Skip Schumacher said Brandon Nimmo came with an edge today. I don't know what was going on, but he had something. And Josh Young said, yeah, it was weird. He wasn't talking in the hitters meeting. And we know how unusual that is for Brandon Nimmo not to talk. Brandon said yesterday, today was our first day, not in first place in a while, so that was on my mind, and I just didn't feel like anything else really needed to be said. And I have to say, that would also put me on edge a little bit, too, if Brandon Nimmo wasn't talking and I was around, guys.
I love it. You know, he just brings so many different things. And it kind of, what you and I were talking kind of off camera about guys that kind of, I think I was talking more about a coach that was kind of. That
one is lined right over first for a base hit. Nimmo got a good start, heads to third. It's a double for Ezekiel Duran. Rangers building something in the 4th here on K.
So much of the story here recently, especially after last night, has been Rangers' performance against left-handed pitching. And between Nimmo and Zeke this inning, they keep this rolling. What an approach by Zeke. You know your swing's in a good place if you can hit a line drive down the opposite field line. I mean, that is staying through the baseball. Good swing pass, staying on top. Good work from Zeke. Getting some extra bases there.
Cam calling now, and he takes his strike.
Yeah, but you got guys that are kind of happy-go-lucky, and then every now and then when they show more of an intensity, kind of gets you excited.
Yeah, because if Nimmo isn't just being friendly and chatty with you, you definitely get the sense he's in a distant place. He's in a, he's channeling a different focus. Normally it's just so affable. So yeah, I think it was a different edge yesterday. He checks in with Corey Ragsdale at third base. Zeke at second. A base hit here would tie the game. Collie had the home run in the second inning to tie the game. Well, that's inside and got him on the foot. So he'll head to first. The bases are loaded.
That is an 0-2 gift. Especially you get it off the bounce too. Might sting a bit, but hitting the dirt first, that takes a little bit of the sting out of it.
That's another first for Collie. First time he's been hit in his big league career. But for Kay, quite the different story. It's the 19th batter he's hit this year. Look out. Bases loaded. Nobody out. And that is off the plate. Ball one to Elias Diaz. Rangers do not have a grand slam yet this year. Diaz today getting to 10 years of major league service. That would be a really cool way to kind of celebrate the day. Gets that one foul off his foot. 1-1.
I'm guessing this is the cutter, what we talked about. Cutters are usually breaking bats or hurting legs. Yeah, you see that cutter spin. Eesh, right off the instep or top of the shoe.
One ball, one strike. It's low. 2-1. Nimmo, third base. Duran second. Collie at first. Yes, really good speed. So does Duran. 2-1. Chopper slowly hit toward third. A step on the bag, run out. The two bouncer to first in time for the double play. Good work by Vargas. Turn two. It gets Nimmo to the plate to make it a one-run game. No RBI for Diaz.
That's a little bad luck for Diaz. Looked like there was a cutter in on his hands again, right at third base. You hit it slowly enough to where it looks like you're only going to get one out of it. But because it's right at the bag, Vargas able to time it up, step on third right as it arrives, excuse me, and then a quick enough release. Even though he skips it over there a few times, Murakami stays down on it and picks it.
Now Osuna. Rangers do have a base runner out there, Collie at second, so Osuna could still tie the game with a base hit. It's early, bottom of the fourth inning, final game of this three-game series with Chicago. The White Sox head on after the ball game, and they will return home to host the Houston Astros and New York Yankees in a 7-game homestand. K's one strike offering, and it's 0-2. Rangers, meanwhile, enjoy a day off tomorrow, but then they will welcome Seattle to town. A huge 4-game series, Friday through Monday. Mariners lost earlier today, so consequently the Rangers lead in the division at this moment is 1 game over Seattle. A win will give them a game-and-a-half cushion prior to the series. Osuna chases strike 3. It's okay. Gets a strikeout to end the inning. The Rangers do scratch across another run. 4 innings in the books here tonight. White Sox with a 3-2 lead.
The 3 for Me, only at Chili's, is now available with the Big Crispy.
Brought to you by American Home Shield. Mentioned the Mariners coming to town starting Friday night. Well, the Rangers have taken 4 of the first 6. Some low-scoring games. Rangers averaging 3 runs, Mariners 2.5 runs. Not a lot of offense. And the bullpen's been probably the biggest difference in the series. Rangers bullpen been very good against Seattle this year. Anyway, a little business to complete tonight before we can get to that stage. Quantrill back to work in this 5th inning. Boy, does he need kind of a bounce back inning here. Antonacci fouls that to the left side, out of play. 1-1.
I'll be curious to see. I guess I haven't even looked at the probables for the Mariners series, but the Rangers were able to solve the Kirby Wu puzzle early on in April. You know those guys are going to be tough, and that's obviously what makes the Mariners so good. The pitching, starting pitching, is their backbone. If they can get even the least bit of offense, if Raleigh can get going, Julio Rodriguez can get going, that'll really help them. But hopefully Rangers pitchers will have something to say about that.
2-2 the count. So updated standings. Well, the Mariners lost earlier today. It's a 1-game lead. Astros 3 back coming into play today. Bouncer right side, sliding stop Berger. Great play to hop up and get it to Quantrill for the first down of the inning.
Well, this is going to help your point of Quantrill. A bounce back inning right here. It always starts with getting the first guy. Get your leadoff man. And you got the big guy over at first base, ranging over to the hole, gets down on the ground. Good job by Quantrill covering first.
So 1 out, and now Murakami. He started the madness last inning with a walk. Averaging 232, but always that legit power you have to respect, and he pops this one left side out of play.
Powerful enough to hit the rafters with a foul ball.
There you go. One foul ball and a ton of high fives. Very high. 1-2 the count. Murakami had to spend a little time on the injured list. He hurt his right hamstring toward the end of May, and from May 30th to July 9th was on the injured list. At the time, he was just tearing up the American League. And he swings and misses here. And that strikeout is the second out of the inning. Since returning from that hamstring strain, he has been a different hitter. Not as good.
Curveball is what makes him go down here. He's an interesting hitter. You saw right there when he swings, it's like he gets that foot down. He cheats with that front side. He opens up those hips and then just waves the bat at the ball. I've not watched him enough this season to see if that's kind of a mechanical flaw or if that's just the way that he goes about it. But yeah, he was leading the big leagues in homers for a while. And wasn't it something he got into like double digit? He had a crazy amount of homers before he even had a double.
Vargas takes a little high, 2-0. Yeah, he just, I don't know, he hit the ground running and was off to that phenomenal start. And that hamstring really slowed him down. There's a swing and a high fly ball, center field. Collie in a couple of steps makes a routine play. Well, Quantrill needed a bounce back inning, and he got it. A 1-2-3, top of the 5th, including a strikeout. Murakami, one of the hottest hitters in the game in the first half, whiffs for a second time tonight.
Good Time here to check out our Choctaw Casinos and Resorts game within the game. How about this last night with 2 strikes? 381 average and 21 at-bats, 8 hits in those 21 at-bats, 4 extra base hits, a 92% contact rate with 2 strikes. All right, let's keep this going.
Sometimes you're just having fun. It's like walking up to a hot table in Vegas, man. It was one of those nights. That was all too emphatic a head nod right there, Murph.
Lots of blackjack.
That's outside. 1-1. I thought about you when we were in Cleveland recently. The hotels across the street, basically, from a casino. Gosh, we got on a heater for a while too, man.
Yeah.
And then when it gets cold, oof. 2-1.
How appropriate is it if you're drawing a comparison to the game of baseball, because you got a pitcher out there that he is literally dealing something.
Yeah. And this one flared over to the right side. And that is the first out of the inning. So Lopez might sneak it through, but it does give us a moment here for Baylor Scott and White Health.
Oh. It looks painful every time.
It's kind of disturbing in a way. There's a swing and a miss by Langford. Wyatt 0 for 2 today.
Some things you just never get used to.
Well, here's the guy talking about guys on a heater. Boy, Langford, since mid-June, after his first stint on the IL, he has been really good. He's had another short time off. He's homered in 9 of his last 21 games. 1-2 the count. Keep that kind of a pace up. That's good for what? Like 70 home runs.
He's also doing his best Jock Peterson impression. Yeah, he doesn't have a ton of time out of the leadoff spot. He's hitting there tonight, but when batting first this season, 371 with an 1160 OPS.
Wow. Rangers in general ended up getting pretty good productivity out of that leadoff spot.
They have to be amongst the leaders in baseball, the way that Jock has just had tremendous at-bats. Yeah, look at that difference. What a difference a year makes.
Two-two, and it's pulled foul. And Jock's been a big part of that. Langford is flied out and grounded out. And Kane misses off the plate with that changeup. They can lay off that changeup, and it is a good one, but if they can lay off that thing and get a fastball or something to drive, that's where the Rangers can have success tonight. 7th pitch of the at-bat, and Langford hammers that foul. There you go.
It went 385 feet just in the wrong direction.
Man.
Well foul.
That's a long way up there. Here's the payoff, and Langford shoots it the other way. That time he got the fastball. Might be one of the harder fastballs that K's thrown today too at 97.
I've actually been surprised with his velocity. He's gotten up there a few times, like over 96. He was starting off the game around 94.
3-2. And that's off the plate. Oh, strike 3 called, and Langford challenges immediately, and that's good. And he didn't even bother staying around the plate. Our ABS challenge, powered by T-Mobile, will tell you why. That was ball 4 by a mile. So Langford is on.
I kind of love when players, when they challenge with such certainty. Like you're not wanting to show the umpire up, but it's just more you're just so sure of what you know to be true that you're going to go ahead and not even wait on the call. You're going to go ahead and go to first because you know the outcome.
A 9-pitch walk by Langford. Let's see how that affects the inning. Foscue takes a little bit high, and now Hill challenges, called a strike. Another ABS challenge. T-Mobile working hard to give us all these. Yeah, that's high. So suddenly Ryan Willis, our plate umpire, his table's gone really cold. He'd like to step away from the table right now, but he's going to let it chip, put it down. And steal another hand. Berger waiting on deck. 3-2 our score. And that is inside. 2-0. It's a good take right there too by Foscue. One of those, talked about him from time to time, but that was very quiet, very confident. And he hits that ball in the air left field. Not going to carry though. Antonacci comes in a couple of steps. He'll make the catch, and there are 2 gone. Langford has to stay put over there at first base. Here comes Jake Berger. Well, Berger has not looked all that comfortable against Kay so far. 2 strikeouts, neither of them all that competitive, really. And there's another swing and a miss at a changeup where he was just on the very different pitch right there.
And he struck out against the slider the first time, the fastball the second time. There was the changeup. So Kay's not just throwing him 1 or 2 pitches. He's kind of showing him everything that he's got. Jake needs to stay close and think right center here.
1-1.
You know, you're talking about the changeup and how that's a really good pitch for Kay. You know, I like his cutter a lot and the way that it's worked. And I feel like those 2 pitches probably work off of one another. The changeup's probably a pretty good pitch because of the way that he uses the cutter inside.
It's low. Tried the changeup there. That time Berger wasn't taking the bait. 2-1.
And I would assume that you talked about the hit by pitches.
Yeah.
With all the hit by pitches he has, I'm assuming it's because he tries to bury that cutter in on righties.
Langford with a small lead. Berger hits that hard down the left field line, but foul. Well, that's the best swing he's had tonight against Kay. All that scrambling. Ball came right to the kid. I think he's maybe in a little bit of a state of shock.
Probably. That ball left the bat at 110.
Woo. Oh yeah. Maybe the kid never really saw it. Oh, there's a ball here all of a sudden.
Can we get you an X-ray?
Thanks, Mom. Two balls, 2 strikes on Berger. Here it is. And that's low and away. Full count. Well, if Berger can get on, Nimmo would be next. Jordan Hicks throwing out in the White Sox bullpen. This is interesting. K's at 71 pitches. 3-2, and Berger fights him off. Yeah, there's the hard throwing righty.
a lot of this in this series. Didn't see exactly where it clipped him. Cutter once again. Oh, man.
On the outside of the knee. That's not fun. 7th pitch of the at-bat. Langford at first. He'll be on the move. 3-2, and that's inside and low. So Berger walks. And Nimmo does get to the plate. Well, make a very quick visit. Well, they talk things over out on the mound. We'll pause a moment for Jack in the Box.
Don't get FOMO. Get my Philly style bonus Jack combos and new Philly Munchie Meal. Welcome to Jack in the Box.
All right, fairly quick conversation. Well, crowd's excited to see Nimmo up in this spot. 4 hits yesterday, 4 for 4, all against lefties. He has a hit tonight, 1 for 2 against the left-hander K. Rangers left-handed hitters since May 29th have killed left-handed pitching. It's really weird. And fouled off by Nimmo. Last night wasn't just getting hits, he was hitting for power.
You know how to beat a lefty if you're a left-handed hitter. Go to the opposite field. And he just curled this ball around toward the pole, snuck out close to the 334 sign. You know, here's the interesting thing too, with those recent numbers, even though Kay has done a lot better against left-handed hitters, I just feel really good about this at bat.
2 third look for Nimmo against Kay. And he got to Kay for a base hit last inning. How about that? 423 with runners on base last 11 games for Nimmo. Langford and Berger the runners. They won it up. The 0-2 is down low. So the question is, did he really want it up, Carroll, or was he trying to bait Langford into passing on bad information to Nimmo?
Yes, I think that's what he was doing. And I feel like most of the time it's not a missed pitch. I mean, you'd see them talking at the mound right now if that was a miscommunication.
1-2 outside.
Yeah, just grinding away, earning another pitch. He's trying to get you to chase. Stay in your lane right here. 4 for 4 last night. You got a line out and a single tonight. So the at-bats against lefties have been really good. Stay right up the middle here.
2 balls, 2 strikes. It's on the way. And that's high. Full count. The key, it seems, since May 29th for left-handed hitters, they have punished left-handed fastballs. Since May 29th, Rangers left-handed hitters hitting .500 against fastballs from lefties with a ton of slug.
You think he's going to get a fastball here?
I think he's going to get a changeup. The question is, will he recognize that, or will he see it as a fastball? Runners leading. There they go. And that one is up the middle. Gathered up back there by Montgomery, and his throw was in time. Well, Rangers put a little pressure on Kay in the 5th inning, but they leave a couple more. Got 4 innings left here tonight. White Sox and Rangers, it's a 1-run game. All right, home plate coverage presented by Firestone Complete Auto Cares. We're going to look at Elias Diaz helping complete those warm-up tosses for the 6th inning. Not just any warm-up tosses. The new warm-up tosses of Jacob Junis, who's the third Rangers pitcher of the night.
It is good to see him back in there. Came off the injured list a few days ago. We saw him in Atlanta over the weekend. He went 2/3 of an inning in the Saturday game. He struck out one. He gave up a hit. He's at 275 on the season. Obviously, the walk numbers stand out. Just 6 walks in 36 innings.
And he'll go right after these hitters, and Colson Montgomery rather takes strike one. Montgomery popped up and walked. Remember a couple of days ago in the opener, fouled one off his shin and had to leave the ball game. Was out yesterday, but back in there today. And he swings over the top of that sweeper. 1-2.
Yeah, he's been an exciting young player. Big time power. I think he just eclipsed the 162 games played for his career mark. I think he's got 45 career homers. I was watching him take batting practice the other day. First time I'd ever seen a ball hit into the second deck in right field. You got 3 decks. You got a skinny one that's up there, the second one that I'm talking about. Obviously, I don't think I've ever seen anybody hit the third one.
He takes strike 3 called here, and he knew it. So Montgomery strikes out looking. Junis has his first K of the night.
And with big time power, a lot of times comes big time strikeout numbers, and there's nothing that he can do but just sit back and watch this backdoor sweeper.
Now Braden Montgomery, and he'll hit the first one on the ground through the left side, base hit. Montgomery a walk earlier, now a single. He's been on a couple of times tonight.
Second baseman number 10, Chase Michael.
So Quantrill's night, I don't know, it's not a terrible night. 3 innings pitched, couple of runs on 2 hits. The 3 walks were his undoing. 1 strikeout, but the Rangers were hoping to get more length out of him than that. And now Junis, this is up to Mydroth, right-handed hitter. Mydroth 2 for 2 today. He's driven in 2 of the White Sox 3 runs. Runner going. There's a ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. Montgomery heads to third. And the White Sox have runners on the corners.
Looked like a hit and run call with 1 out. Montgomery on the move. Mydroth with his 3rd hit up the night. Hard ground ball up the middle. Montgomery picks it up. Makes a quick turn, goes to third.
So it's Benintendi, 1 for 2. And he'll take on the outside corner. DHing tonight. It's his 3rd year in a White Sox uniform. And he hits that up the middle. That's a base hit. Gets another run to the plate. Heading to third base, and in ahead of the throw is Mydroth. Montgomery scored on the play. And now it's 4-2 Chicago.
And these middle guys are really putting hurting on Texas pitching tonight. Single, single, single. Mydroth 3 hits. Benintendi with 2 hits. And once again, not hard contact. Just finding space.
That's the new roadmap to success as a hitter, I think, these days, is bad contact. Here's Caro.
Soft contact is the new hard contact.
It truly is. We've talked a good portion of the year. It's just the ridiculously deep outfielders. Teams are really good at positioning these days. It's hard to get a hit if you do square a ball up. The only way you do it really is if you hit it over the fence. So that leaves you only one option, and that is back time. Go into the 1-1 from Junis, and a swing and a miss. So Jacob has surrendered a run on 3 consecutive singles. And that's off the plate, 2-2. So if you take the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the White Sox today, those 3 guys have combined for 6 hits and a walk, and that's fouled off. They have scored 3, driven in 4. Oh, look at that. Those numbers are crazy. Now the rest of the team, top 4 hitters and the last 2 hitters in the lineup, they are combined 0 for 13. But 1 run scored. Two-two pitch, and that's lifted out into left field. Osuna coming in, and he'll make the catch, throw it back in, and everybody stays put. It's interesting, right before he made that catch, Mydrop left third base. Right, he was a step or so ahead of the catch being made. Kind of hoping he'd run.
And maybe he knows that already, and just seeing if he can push a throw across.
Well, I guess it was right about on time.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just been the way I glanced at it when it happened. But on replay, it looked like right. It looked fair. In soccer, we just go to the VAR. There's a bouncer foul. Did you watch enough of the soccer to see some of that stuff?
I watch almost no soccer. When we were in Atlanta the other day after the game, and we were watching the end of the final, that was about as much soccer as I watched.
those 10 to 20 minutes in the booth there.
Yeah, so I mean, I was asking all those questions, right? I'm like, well,
yeah.
why are they adding time? And you know, what's he doing there? Probably the questions that everybody else was asking earlier in the month, or 4 weeks before, 6 weeks before.
The one thing that I saw in those games that was so intriguing was the way they looked at offsides, as that's pulled foul, where they would freeze the players on the pitch, if you will, right when the ball was being advanced, and then they would draw this line, or this kind of imaginary 3-dimensional plane. It was very obvious, and they would take it to the last defender, and you could see whether or not an offensive player's shoulder or whatever, his nose was past that plane, whether or not it was a violation.
It was the slightest bit.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. And I assume it's accurate. I don't know. I don't believe anything. Just sitting there eating chips, watching on my couch. 2-2, and that's off the plate. Junis just missed. Well, this is a rare longer inning for Junis. So many of his outings are very quick and very efficient. He's got Mydroth at third, Benintendi at first, and there's a swing, and that one's driven out to right field. It takes Nimmo back. It'll make the catch. 2 in the inning. White Sox leave a couple, but they had a run. So we'll head to the last of the 3rd inning tonight. Rangers trailing by 2.
The Academy just won't stop, guys. Yesterday in Houston, the Rangers 18U Youth Academy team defeated RBI Austin 11-5 for the program's first ever RBI Southwest Regional Senior Baseball Championship. With the win, the program will make its first appearance at the World Series August 2nd through 6th in Vero Beach, California. And guys, we were talking with Karen Morris today. She's the executive director of the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation. And she said 50% of the athletes on that team have been with the Youth Academy since it was opened back in December of 2017. So congratulations to all those athletes. What an accomplishment. And we'll be rooting for you next month.
Yeah, how cool is that? And they get a little travel out of it, too.
This one heading down the right field line, just foul. Long strike on Duran. Jordan Hicks, new pitcher for Chicago.
Yeah. You see the 3.62 ERA. A guy with this type of stuff, you can see him having an ERA in the ones. I mean, he brings the fastball near 100. Just the numbers against the sweeper, 154 with a 269 slug. Same against the four-seamer, not a hit given up yet. He has some nasty stuff. He can be beaten on his sinker. Just one home run given up on the season. That's probably because of the extreme velocity that he brings. But he is one of their back end arms. I guess we're not even in the back end of the pen yet. I mean, he's pitching the 6th inning, so that might, prove to you what type of bullpen Chicago has. We didn't really get to see their back end guys the other day because they had such a commanding lead in game 1 of the series.
Kind of a 10-3 game and a 10-0 game. You suggested early tonight, Marv, that this would be a tight, low-scoring affair. That one's off the plate, 3-2. Maybe you didn't even specify low-scoring, just that it would be a tight game, and it has been. Well, this could be big if Duran could work a walk, let's say, to start the 6th inning. I always think that's a great way to start something against a reliever. Duran did double his last time up. That helps. Here we go. Maybe the movement can get something going for this Rangers team. That tarps off group will show up every night around this time. Three balls, 2 strikes. And another foul ball. So Laura was talking about the 18U team and the RBI World Series in Vero Beach. When you were with Boston, you trained in Florida. Were the Dodgers still in Vero at that time, or they moved?
They were.
Okay, so you did Vero, right?
I got to see the last few years of it.
High pop up. First base side, foul ground, and in and out of the glove. How about that? Carroll with the old ejecto mitt. An error to extend the at bat.
Yeah, who implanted the rubber in the glove? He goes over to get it. What should be a routine play, reaches to the side and just bounces out. 3-2 count, should be an out. We'll see if it produces a base runner on a second chance.
Well, it makes for a 9-pitch at bat now, and a swing, and that one's down the right side and heading foul. Yeah, so you did Vero Beach.
It was actually when I got promoted to High A. My first road trip at that level was to Dodgertown, and at the time I didn't really know how cool it was until people started telling me what a big deal and all the players that had played there.
A swing and a miss. Duran strikes out, 1 away in the 6th.
I don't have the fondest memories of it because I also remember having to be pulled in the office. I was hitting about 340 my previous stop.
Okay.
And then I start slumping immediately. I get called up to High A, and this is my first year in professional baseball. And so they just basically, you're a competitor. Early in the year, I was a college baseball player. I hit over 400. So, at this point in time where you're like, oh, baseball's kind of easy. Yeah. You get drafted, you start your career, hit 340 at the first stop, and then I'm 1 for 27. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I didn't know things like this happened.
Colley lashes that down to third. Vargas Straightens and fires, and that's in and out of the glove of Murakami. A second error in the inning. And the Rangers have a speedy base runner on.
Well, it always helps when you got a good arm on the mound if there's some shoddy defense, and Vargas fields it cleanly. Just a bad throw across. Seems like he takes his time, but Murakami cannot handle it. So the Rangers have a base runner and a base runner with some speed here. So you'd love to see them push 2 across, but still plenty of time left in this one if they can just.
Fly ball short right field. Yeah, that's a routine play for Montgomery. 2 gone. Yeah, just get a run back. You don't have to get it all back right here.
Yeah, just push 1 across.
You feel like you got to take advantage of 2 errors in the inning. Here comes Osuna. So when they called you in the office, did you tell them, like, look, guys, baseball's easy. I hit 400
No, it's just, it was more of a, how you doing? You know, I know you probably haven't struggled much here recently, but this is the type of stuff that happens. Al Nipper, who was the pitching coach, pitched for the Red Sox at one point, and he said, I remember I was here at this level when Nomar Garciaparra came through, and at the time Nomar was, you know, the face of the Red Sox. You know, Nomar had a similar, you know, 0 for 20, 1 for 20 type of streak. So you're no stranger. There's plenty of guys that go through it, and so that kind of helped. I'm just thinking, oh, okay. Not to mention, though,
another ABS challenge here. Carroll made an error earlier in the inning. Let's see if he can make up for it. No. It's blown their second challenge.
Yeah, things not going the White Sox way here defensively. But the Dodgers ran out, and I don't even remember the names. A lot of these guys didn't get to the big leagues, but they had, it was like their top prospects that I was facing in all of these games. Like, they threw out a good group of guys. So it was kind of an introduction into the next level of baseball, thinking, okay, you know, I was facing 92, 93, and then more guys throwing in the mid 90s. It was some different stuff.
2-2 the count. But you figured out a little bit of the aura of Dodger Town there, Vero Beach.
Yep.
Really cool.
And really great. Not a ton of shady areas.
No, those dugouts.
It was July or August, so it was hot.
Yeah.
But you know, Florida State League, they're all night games anyway. You don't play day games to try to help you with the heat.
2-2. Fouled away. How often did you guys actually take BP in the Florida State League? Because it always rains in the afternoon.
Right.
At that time of day.
So I can remember many times of taking BP in the cages, and our home field was Sarasota, and this was back before we didn't even have covered cages at the time. But you know, it was such a different time, because even when I got up to AA, you know, I'll always remember New Britain, Connecticut.
Osuna, a tapper, back to the mound. And Hicks takes care of him. Man, Jordan Hicks using that power arm to work around some misplays, a blown challenge. That was a mess of an inning, but Rangers can't get anything out of it. It remains 4-2. Zen is brought to you by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, the official casino and resort of the Texas Rangers. By Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. And by your North Texas Honda dealers. So, 7th inning. Final game of this series, Rangers White Sox. White Sox with a 4-2 lead. And we'll send the top of the order in the 7th. Robbie Ahlstrom is the Rangers' new pitcher, and his first offering fouled back by Antonacci.
Yeah, he'll get a shot against the top of the White Sox lineup. This will be his 21st game. There's his overall numbers. Lefty that features a 4-seamer, sinker, slider, changeup, and curveball.
Jumps ahead 0-2 And the White Sox leadoff hitter. Antonacci has hit the ball on the ground 3 times tonight. White Sox have scored 4 runs on 6 hits. That's low. Well, we're just a couple of weeks from the Major League Baseball trade deadline, August 3rd. Little bouncer right side of the infield. Foscue is there, and that's a 4th ground ball out for Antonacci today. 1 gone here. Interesting to see what the White Sox do when the deadline hits. Last 3 years they've been able to kind of load up by trading away players at the deadline. 3 straight years of at least 100 losses. And now coming into today, they were tied with the Guardians this morning. The Guardians have lost already, so it's at the moment a half-game lead in the division. Well, you figure the White Sox have some young players in their system now they've acquired over the last several years that they might be able to turn around and use to pick up whatever veteran presence they think they might need down the stretch. 1-1 the count. Although if you talk to Will Venable, their manager, you know, he'll talk about the accomplishments of certain guys, but he'd also tell you that a lot of it is just sort of the personality of the group. You can't argue the numbers, but you get the sense that some of the numbers are a function of the way this group gets along, the way they work together. There's just a little bit extra that they seem to be getting up the good vibes as Murakami strikes out. 2 away.
Looks like a good fastball from Robbie Ahlstrom. Good life at the top of the zone. 95 miles an hour. Tends to jump up there, play up as we call it. Looks faster than the actual velocity that you see. 95 probably looked like 97 or 98.
So base is empty for Vargas. And he swings through strike 1. Vargas fly out, a pop out. Last time up, flew out to center field. Takes it outside. So I don't know. You know, White Sox, they'll have to make some decisions. I mean, at this point, they've been awfully good. 3rd best record in the American League, behind only the Rays and the Yankees. It's outside.
I guess when you're an up-and-coming team like this, you want to see what type of moves that you can make to make your team better, but not compromise your major prospects. You want to keep those guys intact so that they can come and reinforce your team in the coming years. I don't know. You know, it's kind of, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Like if you look at the playoffs and the quality of pitching that you need to get to the World Series, I don't know if I've seen that from the White Sox during their course of the series, but I mean, they're overcoming odds in so many different ways. You don't put it past them.
2-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Ahlstrom with a 1-2-3 7th inning, including back-to-back strikeouts. Well, Rangers have kept it close. Bullpen is combined now 4 pitchers to get through 7 innings. Robbie Ahlstrom with a perfect 7th. As many of you probably know by this point, there's a new way to stream Rangers baseball. Buzzer, and it's available in the App Store, Google Play Store, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Chromecast. There will be more to come. So if you were previously, or you know somebody who was previously subscribed to watch Rangers games this season on our former direct-to-consumer platform, just know that you can switch over with no additional charge. Now, if you're a subscriber to DirecTV, maybe Spectrum or Fubo or any of the other providers who already have RSN, No worries. You can keep watching as you have all season, and no matter how you got here, we certainly appreciate having you. And if you are or know somebody who's struggling a little bit making that transition to buzzer, just reach out to the Rangers. And we've got a ton of people on hand ready to help and try and get you through the transition. Not simple, we get it. We'll do whatever we got to do, though, to make it happen for us. Nicky Lopez leads it off here in the 7th inning. Taylor, new reliever, man, he fires that one 99 right past Lopez. Strikeout to start the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, he's a guy that seemed like he's made a pretty big adjustment from his rookie season to his sophomore campaign. 4.91 ERA to a 2.74. Just 38 hits, 49 1/3 innings, 67 strikeouts. He's got some pretty good numbers to go along with a crisp breaking ball right there and good velocity.
One out, and Wyatt Langford the batter. Rangers down 2. We need a base runner here to make things a little more interesting. So they're down to their final 8 outs tonight. One finds the corner, 1-1 the count. Looks like Jock Peterson poised to get into the action here. It's the 1-2 pitch, and that's down in the dirt. Boy, Taylor, he'll just sling it. I mean, he just winds it up and then lets it fly.
And I was looking, I mentioned in the first game of this series that the White Sox were amongst the lead leaders in, blown losses. And that pointed to the fact that maybe their bullpen was struggling. I looked at some of the bullpen numbers. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think it's more of maybe they had a lead in the 3rd or 4th inning and they lost it, because that also counts in that category. But pretty good numbers, and especially the last 10 games. ERA under 2, 173 to be exact. That's 2nd in baseball over those last 10. His first heater way upstairs to Foscue for ball 1. Taylor, a 2nd-round pick a couple of years ago out of LSU, and he is high here, 2-0. And it's his 2nd year pitching in the big leagues, and it has not taken him long to get to 100 career strikeouts. Did that a little bit earlier. Is that one in there for a strike? And an ABS challenge here initiated by Foscue, powered by T-Mobile. Let's take a look. Yeah, that was a ball. So 3-0. Tough night for Ryan Willis, our plate umpire, on those ABS challenges. And that's a high strike. Well, Taylor now in his career is over 120 strikeouts. In fact, with the 2 this inning at 123. But he was the quickest in franchise history to 100 strikeouts. That one's in there. He did it in like 68 innings. And you get it with that fastball. The payoff, and Foscue takes a curveball for strike 3, and he challenged that one, and with great confidence, but I don't know how that's going to play out for him. Let's take a look. Our ABS challenge. No. Strike 3 called. Grant Taylor strikes out the side in order, and that sends us to the 8th inning in a 4-2 game. Baylor Scott White health game diagnosis. White Sox have a 4-2 lead in this one, but the Rangers playing some good offense trying to keep it close. This is a nice diving play by Alejandro Osuna. This ended the first. A little bit later in the game. Nice 2-ball right here. Double play between Justin Foscue and Nicky Lopez. And then Jake Berger helping out his pitcher, going down to the ground. Cal Quantrill helping himself out, getting over to first base and covering. Berger throws a strike to him. Rangers hope to continue playing good defense here, but they got to swing the bats, score a few more runs, get back in this one. It'll be Peyton Gray. Comes on here, 3.53 RA in 29 games, over 35 2/3 innings.
Pumps one right in there for a strike. 0-2 on Colson Montgomery. Montgomery has walked today, 0 for 2. Well, we do have critical mass on the right field line, right behind the big foul post is ABS challenge here. Elias Diaz thought that one was worthy of a strike call. We'll check it out. No, it was low, and Diaz frustrated by that.
He's not a guy that really hides his feelings.
No,
yeah.
I like it.
You know, I was looking at, it's interesting, and I know like across baseball, it never gets your attention when it's just, you know, a small percentage, but with the change in the implementation of ABS this year, walk rate across baseball is higher than it's been in a long time. I think it's close to 10%. Over recent years, it's been around, what, 8.5 or so. And that has to be because of ABS. And, you know, we saw a perfect example with Wyatt Langford in his third plate appearance tonight in the 5th inning. Was it a 3-2 pitch that he challenged and
just kept walking to first? Yep. He knew it.
Called out on strike. So that's a perfect example of a strikeout turned into a walk, and why the walk rate may be, you know, higher this season than it has in, I think, ever.
I mean, long time anyway. Weak bouncer down to first. Gray covering again. Back-to-back 3-1 putouts. Getting a little energy from that right field corner. The Tarps off group. I think they've established their post. And recruitment ongoing. Here they come. Guys just sort of disrobing on their way down the stairs. Now officially members of the group.
It's amazing how they move around the ballpark.
I love it. I just think it's so fun, man.
They're never in one spot.
They're having fun, and they're, you know, and obviously you just see them having a good time, and you just go over and you want to join them, and so they do.
You tend to find them a lot faster than I do. I always hear them,
yeah,
and then I'm just looking throughout the ballpark. It's kind of like a Where's Waldo, but maybe a little bit bigger group instead of an individual.
This guy's like, look, Dad won't let me go over there to be with the guys, so I'll get my own little Tarps off group going here. Strike one on Mydroth. Boys, he had a night. 3 for 3 with a couple of RBIs, and he takes a strike. It's 0-2. Rangers can use whatever little boost could be provided by those goofballs down the line. It's fouled back. Stays 0-2. Only down 2 runs. On the bottom of the 8th, it will be the 3, 4, and 5 spots coming up. So we'll be right at that point of the game where we get a shift of momentum. Here's the 0-2, and that's fouled back. Rydroth has been swinging the bat well and doing some serious gum chewing tonight. Here's the 0-2, and he hits that one on a line to center, and that's down base hit again. Man, he's 4 for 4. It's like Murph in the Florida State League. Just telling the other guys, baseball's easy. And Andrew Benintendi coming up. 7 hits tonight for Chicago. 4 of them belong to the man at first base. 2 of them belong to this guy, though. Benintendi's had a big night. He's driven in 2, and he takes strike 1.
We were talking about the White Sox defensive outfielders, all young guys, all guys that cover a lot of ground. Well, they got to be pretty good, because when this guy came up, he was a really good defensive outfielder. Kind of made me think about, we were having that Andrew Jones conversation last night, and how later in his career, one of the best of all time, and yet he was more of a DH. So it just kind of goes to show you, as you accumulate the years in Major League Baseball, it's hard to stay out there. The athleticism just starts to go away.
Gold Glove winner in 2022.
I was actually with the Red Sox in 2016, my last spring training. And I was there the day that he came up from the minor leagues for his first spring training game at the major league level. Actually, the same day also that Rafael Devers came up, and they were the 1 and 2 prospects in the organization at the time. So everybody was really excited. It was kind of cool.
Well, he strikes out swinging here, and that ends the inning. Great job by Peyton Gray again. All right, bottom of the 8th coming up. With those tarps off, it's going to be Jake Berger, Brandon Nimmo, and Ezekiel Duran coming up in a 2-run game.
Their best to steal one away from the White Sox, but after an off day tomorrow, Mariners come to town. Big rivalry, big 4-game series. Get into the second half. You know, these playoff races start to heat up. Rangers have control of first place right now. Mariners right behind them. Plenty of tickets available at Rangers.com. Come support the hometown team over the weekend.
Come tarpless if you want. I mean, it's hot, man. You need to normalize that kind of behavior at public outings. Here's Berger, who's 0 for 2 with a walk, and Taylor delivers low. I was kind of hoping that Taylor would be done after 1 inning. And he's back out.
You look through some of his game logs. He's gone multiple innings, plenty throughout the course of the season.
All the more reason to give him a little more time off tonight. There's a bouncer down to first, and Berger is turned back 1 away. But give us a moment here to do a little work for Progressive.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. New customers could save hundreds by bundling their auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. See how easy it is at Progressive.com.
Brandon Nimmo coming up. Jacob Latz throwing in the Rangers bullpen. Now, Murph, that I'm guessing that's if the Rangers take the lead. Otherwise, maybe Gray goes back out.
I would assume so. You never know. Maybe they want to get him some work. But he had
a day off tomorrow too.
Yeah, he had the All-Star break off, where, you know, would he throw 7 pitches to Luis Arraez in the All-Star game, and then we saw him 1 time over the weekend in Atlanta. So who knows? Maybe he's getting work in. Maybe this is his work, just getting it in the bullpen. So who knows? Maybe we'll see him face some hitters.
1-1. And that is strike 2. Hoping that Nimmo could find his way on. And then Duran can just deposit one out into the seats. We have a new game. That's fouled over to the left side. Stays 1-2. Nimmo has never faced Grant Taylor before. The right-hander's pitch fouled again. Nimmo might be the type of guy who's actually pretty well suited to deal with a guy like Taylor. He's got good back control and ability to spoil pitches. That's how he gets a sense for the timing and can find one to drive. Has a hit tonight. Ooh, strikes out swinging, and that's a 4th strikeout for Taylor.
Yeah, when you're facing a guy like this, all the more reason, say, even if you have an inning where you go 3 up, 3 down, you know, try to mix a walk in there, try to see some pitches throughout the course of an at-bat, because through 5 hitters, still only thrown 23 pitches. If you get that pitch count up through those first 3 outs, maybe he doesn't come back out for a second.
Strike 1 on Zeke. Jock Peterson into the on-deck circle. Oh, 0-2 the count. Well, not a lot going on tonight for the Rangers. Their last hit was in the 4th inning. And it was Duran. He had a double. Upstairs, it's 1-2. Rangers runs today, a Cam Cauley home run. Nimmo scored on a bases loaded double play. Oh, that's upstairs. 2-2. And that's strike 3 called. Boy, Duran goes down looking. Grant Taylor, well, he's worth watching, man. 2 innings, 5 strikeouts. We are headed to the 9th in a 4-2 game. Well, it's 4-2. 9th inning is here. And it's going to be up to Jacob Last to keep it 4-2 and give his team a shot in the bottom of the 9th.
Obviously not a save situation for the Rangers closer. Good looking body of work in 36 games, just 11 walks, 123 batting average against. He's got one of the best 4-seam fastballs in all of baseball. Good changeup as well. Opponents hitting under 100 against that pitch, 125 versus that 4-seamer.
First pitch fouled off here as Caro leads it off. Edgar Caro, their backstop. Then it would be Tristan Peters, and then back up to the top of the order. It's in the air down the right side, foul and out of play. Has been terrific. Normally saved for games where the Rangers would be leading or maybe tied at this point. It seems like it's probably been a while since he's come into a game with the Rangers trailing. Here's his 1-2. And that one is fouled, and then not sure what got Latz there. Pardon me, Diaz. It's a follow through. Kind of looks like it might have been. Let's see. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Rangers catcher's having a time of it here lately.
Golly. Wearing the proper equipment.
Oh, Of
course, this,
yeah, this was earlier. He is not celebrating his 10-year anniversary in the major leagues the right way.
That's low in the dirt. 2-2. Speaking of 10 years, we were talking about it earlier. Got a little help from Dale Petrosky, former president of the Hall of Fame, who texted and said it's 7%, by the way. 7% of players get to 10 years. Carroll grounds out to third base. 1 away. So is that 1 out of every 14 players you see? That actually strikes me as decent odds. I'd take those odds.
You take that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One out. Here's Peters. And this one right out in front of the plate, picked up by Diaz, and he throws out Peters. Nicely done. 2 away. And now looks like Grichuk is going to pinch hit. And 2 outs, nobody on now in the bottom of the 9th. I gather the Rangers will go to the bench for Cam Cauley. He's due to lead it off, and he's reached every time he's come up today, but he'll probably be lifted. Diaz will bat second in the 9th inning. So, you know, he's had a foul ball off his own leg. We just saw a foul ball while catching off the worst spots for a catcher, and then the follow through of the bat off the elbow. As you said, not celebrating his 10 years quite right tonight. But if the Rangers can get that lead man on in the bottom of the 9th, well, he could tie it with 1 swing. That would be a really cool way to do it. Mark 10 years. 1-1. Yeah, that's a swing and a miss. Grichuk overpowered there. Left-hander ready again, and the pitch on the way. That's up and out. That's reaching back for a little more right there.
Well, I guess that's the question. Do you go ahead and you make the 1-for-1 switch and just hit Carter for Cauley, or do you hit Jock right out of the chute, or do you wait for Rangers to try to get a guy on before you send Jock up there?
Yeah, I guess probably holding Jock back.
I agree.
For that RBI spot. We don't know if Josh Young is actually available. The only other right-handed hitter, Austin Wynns, who joined the team yesterday. 2-2, fouled away. Grichuk stays alive. So kind of a limited bit of options in the 9th inning for Skip Schumacher. Well, I got to believe that guy's getting up one way or the other. 7th pitch to Grichuk, and he strikes out swinging. So Latz with a 1-2-3 ninth. He's gotten the crowd into it a little bit. Rangers have a last chance coming up.
Good pitch from Latz, showcases that changeup. 7th pitch of the at bat. The 4-seamer got him out front. The changeup got him to swing and miss.
Well, if you're a fan and you care, this is how you show it. Get those tarps off. And they're all over the yard tonight. Everybody, listen, you express your love for the team. Despite Mom's opinions. Nicely done.
Cam Cauley, he's coming up to lead this one off. There's what he did in the second. Went deep to the opposite field for his first major league homer. You'd love to see something similar here, but if he can just get on, set the table for the rest of the lineup, Rangers will be in business.
Well, Rangers will see a new pitcher this inning too, as Brian Hudson is on. And you see his numbers through 43 appearances. That one way up and out.
Maybe not the fastball characteristics of a closer. Averages about 92, but he's 6'8". What is it with the White Sox and these tall lefties?
It's fouled back, 1-2. Hudson, 29 years old now. Drafted in the third round, 2015, by the White Sox out of high school in Illinois. And this year has recorded his first 3 career saves. He is way up and out with that. 2-2 now. So he has 3 saves for the Sox and a 3-2 record. He's been really good. But he's also blown 2 saves. He hasn't been perfect. And that's down the right side, foul.
He does not have the big fastball. Rarely will you see a closer not have at least as many strikeouts as innings pitched, and he's only got 40 and 42 1/3, so maybe not a huge strikeout guy, but he does have less hits given up than innings pitched. And maybe the big one, he doesn't walk guys, but he's only given up 1 homer in 42 1/3, so the ability to keep the ball in the ballpark is huge for a guy that is getting saves.
Cauley battling him, but swings and misses at strike 3. 1 gone.
Whether it's hiding the ball, there's something to it. Just incredibly funky mechanics. That ball just seems to shoot out of there at 92. Cauley swings and misses at the bottom of the strike zone.
So here's Elias Diaz. And he watches one get away outside. Rangers trailing by 2 in the 9th. And if they do not fashion some kind of comeback with these remaining 2 outs, then they will start that series against Seattle Friday night with a half-game divisional lead. Not that we need anything to add to the interest and intensity of that series, but that'll do it. The 1-1 fouled over to the right side, strike 2. There's not a lot going offensively for the Rangers tonight. And that strikeout is the second out of the inning. How about these last 3 innings now? And 7 strikeouts of the 8 total outs.
And did somebody say Hudson wasn't a strikeout guy? Oh wait, that was lots of swings and misses.
A little tapper towards second. Maidra throws to first. They get Osuna. And this one is over. Rangers just couldn't quite muster anything in the late innings. In fact, their last hit in today's game came in the 4th inning. And so they dropped the finale to the White Sox. 4-2 the final score. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and wrap up this 3-game series when we return.